Welcome to Moving Iron with Casey Seymour and Greg Peterson, the podcast for anyone and everyone involved and interested in the business of ag equipment. If you want to understand what trends and market forces are impacting the price of your iron, you've come to the right place. Buckle up, it's time to move some iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This is the Moving Iron Podcast. It's brought to you by John Deere. I've got Greg Machinery, Pete Peterson on to talk about what's happening in the market. Greg, how you doing today?
Doing well, Casey. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. So you flew right past me. You're going so fast. You made it to Laramie.
Yeah, Laramie, Wyoming. I came out with Mrs. Pete and our oldest daughter and her family moving to Laramie, so I'm really excited to help them get settled in here. Beautiful country out here, my goodness.
Yeah.
We flew into Denver and drove up, and I was telling you how windy it was, and then you informed me 45-mile-an-hour winds is just a light breeze up here.
Light breeze.
I have a lot to learn.
Light breeze. Yeah. That Laramie is, I've been in a lot of mountain towns in my life, and rarely do I run into the wind that I run into in the stretch between Laramie and Cheyenne. It's man, I tell you what, it's one of the windiest places I've ever been in my life. So it's beautiful though. Well, I tell you what, you look to the west from Laramie and you see those mountains, and actually the highest football field elevation-wise in the country, 7,500 feet. So,
yeah, well, I suppose an advantage. Other teams come into University of Wyoming, they're all adjusting to the altitude, and the Cowboys just take it to them. Go Pokes, huh?
I don't know if it's that much of an advantage if you look at the last couple of years. So they've.
I was going to snap a picture of the stadium. We drove past it last night. I'm going to get a closer look. But my dad's 88. He's a big college football fan, so we'll get a kick out of it. But no, it's beautiful, beautiful area. We're really excited for the kids to be out here, and looking forward to our visits out here. And so I'm coming out this way more. So maybe I'm only a couple hours from Scotts Bluff. We'll just record Moving Iron out. Machinery Pete and Casey hanging out, huh?
There you go. We have to do it at the Bear Bottom Grill over there in Centennial. Get yourself a slice of pizza and a cold beer. Can't beat it.
Can you get Bear Bottom? Can they sponsor the Moving Iron podcast? I mean, we give them a nice plug like this all the time. That's good stuff.
They might. They might someday do that. So who knows?
A little Machinery Pete TV filming from the Bear Bottom Grill. That'd be good.
There you go. Got live music out there too, so it's nice little place. Nice little place.
All right. Well, I don't know if any of the Machinery Pete audience has seen Machinery Pete on the dance floor. I don't know if you want to see that or not, but
I would like to see that, Greg.
It's a very rare occurrence.
Couple slices, a couple beers. Who knows what you're going to do, Greg?
It takes maybe a couple beers to get rid of my Norwegian roots a little bit and just go for it. But
there you go.
Mrs. Pete, she'll get me out there once in a while. We have fun.
There you go. Well, that's good. Well, we were talking before we started recording about some further auction results that came through, and you had a couple of them. I had to ask you a couple times to go back and check to make sure it was right, because there's some decent prices out there.
Yeah, I've really seen. I think about since just after the middle of June, Casey, we've seen good condition used equipment really producing some eye-popping auction prices. So just in the last week here, I mean, if we go way further west than where we are now, I mean, our friends at Musser Brothers a week ago today, June 23rd, had quite a online auction. I think they called it their Northwest Ag Equipment Auction, and they're pulling equipment from Nevada, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Montana, Wyoming. But I know they set a record on I think it was a 2017 New Holland TS 6140 with a loader. It's low hours, only had 447 hours, so you kind of suspect it's going to sell high, but right, $81,000. That's the highest hard cash auction price I've ever seen. And they had a interesting price, I thought, on a 16 model Case IH Steiger 580 quad track. Nice rig, 4,785 hours. I think that did 170, which I believe that's the third highest auction price I've ever seen on a 580 quad over 4,500 hours. But it was nice. So again, right now it's all about that condition. If it's low hour, obviously, but then even if it's got more hours, if it's really nice and solid. And then they also had the combines on that auction. Really got me. They had 3 Case IH 9250s, all 22s. The highest houred one had, I think, 1,333 engine hours and brought 280.
Yeah, to me, that's an amazing number.
Yeah,
you start breaking that down. Yeah.
The other two went for a little bit less hours, went for 280 and 290.
Yeah.
And I just looked before we started recording here. I believe over 1,300 engine hours. That's the second highest auction price I've ever seen on a 9250. Yeah. The only one higher, which was 310, was back in 2022, which of course you and I have talked about a lot. That was the absolute top. It's the highest I've ever seen on the used equipment market for auction pricing. So yeah, Brandon Musser and the crew there had quite a sale June 23rd.
Yeah. It's that combine ticket, again, like we talked about earlier, like last week we talked about this, but set the stage for what the rest of the year is going to look like. And the numbers you're putting out today were better than the numbers you put out last week. Right. I mean, so
yeah,
there's that rolling, it's kind of starting to snowball a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think in my 36 years, I don't think I've ever seen a period where if you start gaining momentum like May or June, mm-hmm. where it hasn't continued through the rest of the year. Now we are in the new normal, like you termed that quite a while ago, and I think you're on it. This is unprecedented set of circumstances in the used market right now, but right. Definitely with combines, there's tons of momentum. I mean, if we go back the next, so that was June 23rd, the Musser Brothers, but if we back up like 5 days, June 18th, there was that sale we talked about last week, Poplar Grove, Illinois, where they had that 24 model S770 Deere with, I think, hours. It was 243 engine hours, went for 446. It's the highest auction price ever on an S770. Mm-hmm. Now, the day before that, June 17th, in Reagan, North Dakota, fantastic farm auction by Steffes Group. And now this was interesting, I thought, because they did this live in person. I don't know if it was the Bush of the family or whatever, but it was kind of a good old time, just a barn burner. So the combine on that sale, Casey, was a 23 model S780 with 775 engine hours. Again, no heads, brought 385.
Wow.
So these are all swirling just in the last kind of middle to end of June. And then on the 24th, our friend Zach Heiner with Heiner Real Estate and Auction out of Indiana had a really nice farm auction in Andrews, Indiana, and he sold a 23 model 6150 Case H, so smaller capacity, which those you don't see as many, and they tend to do a little better. But that had, let's see if I want to get the exact hours on it. I think it was 196 engine hours, so it's like new.
Yep.
But it brought $334,000. Now, that's the second highest hard cash auction price ever on a 6150. In fact, the only higher one sold right at the top of the market, December 4th of 22, farm auction in Irwin, Iowa, and that one had 0 hours on it. It's a 22 models, no hours, and that brought, I think, 436. But again, 334, I thought, even with those low hours, again, it's the second highest one ever. So combines definitely have been strengthening here the last 10 days or so.
Yeah, it's been impressive to watch them. I mean, here we were talking about a lull, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. Right. And now we were, watching this dip in the combine market, and to see it come through right now, it's been impressive to watch it move. Now, that being said, you go talk to my buddies out on the dealer side of it, and they're struggling with some combines right now. Now, what they're struggling with is that 1 to 3 year old stuff, and I think everyone's struggling with that stuff. But you start looking at some of the under $400,000 stuff. They're making some stuff move that way. So it's going to be interesting to watch how, we've talked about this, that you suck the supply off the top, and there could be some vertical movement up to the next level because that's what's available. And I think there's an opportunity to see some of that late summer, early fall to start seeing some movement on that 1 to 2 year old stuff.
Well, there they are, mocking you.
See you next year, loser.
That weedy area that's got you thinking, man, I hate that spot. Wish I'd sprayed better. Get the last laugh with a sprayer upgrade from John Deere. Precision upgrades that can increase your sprayer's performance, like ExactApply, advanced nozzles to give you more control at more speeds. It's just one of the many precision upgrades you'll find at johndeere.com. Now, let's see who's laughing.
Looking for more accuracy, more productivity from your current planter? Let's get exact with precision upgrades from John Deere. Start with Exact Emerge and get accurate singulation and spacing at 10 miles per hour. Or choose Exact Shot to promote early root growth and cut fertilizer costs. And with Furrow Vision, save time by verifying seed depth right from your cab. Visit johndeere.com/planner upgrades and see why nothing runs like a deer.
Yeah, you know, when we talk about these combines, Casey, in my head runs towards the runner-up bidder.
Yeah.
I mean, who didn't get that S770 at 446? They're still shopping.
Right.
In that S780 at almost 800 engine hours, you know, they were in at 384. They were in at whatever that number was it 385? Yeah, so they were okay at 384, and they're still looking. So yeah, it's just going to be really interesting. One weird little angle, I don't know how to quantify it, but we're in this new normal period where, especially on the grain side, so we're talking big combines here, you know, there's all this pressure on grain farmers, and they've been tightening the belt, extending the life of their used equipment on the farm. So, when these really nice auctions pop up right now versus the stuff on the lot, it might be, there's always been a premium for a nice like farm retirement or estate sale. And, Zach had one, Steffes had one, Big Iron had one June 24th, where last week we talked about that 16 model Massey Ferguson WR9870 going for $137,750 record by 15K plus. It might just be that a really nice farm auction now is not just a premium price. It's like a double premium because of the swirl of conditions.
Right.
And farmers aren't buying new. And here's my neighbor Joe's, and I know how good a farmer he was. Because again, these prices coming through are frankly so strong that they are what they are. But if we keep seeing this, I don't know. We're in some uncharted waters here, and some really, really interesting pricing.
Yeah, it's very interesting to watch it make its way through here because, like you said, we were, just 18 months ago, we were wondering like where we headed. When we were seeing the strengthening of the market, and we saw some trickle and those kind of things. But as supply has gotten taken off the top, that stuff that the higher hour, I call it the higher depreciation stuff, right? Where a big chunk of all the first year, second year, third year, the depreciation has been taken off, and now you've kind of hit that leveling out there of depreciation. So it's not like a big 25% chunk the first 1 year, 15 or 20 the next year, so on and so forth. It's kind of hit its 5 to 10% a year kind of depreciation level, and it's going to kind of keep doing that in forever. And watching that kind of stuff make its way through the market and how fast it's being gobbled up, sooner or later you're just going to have that hole just going to keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper and it's just going to be further down to find what you're looking for. And I just look at this and see probably one of the first times in my career where I'm going to say that the middle of the pack is going to, because of what's available, is going to push buyers up to the next level, and they're going to be looking a little bit harder at some stuff. Now, maybe that brings down the value of some of that 1 to 2 year old stuff because those are where the buyers are at, and you're trying to pull real hard to get that rope to tie together. But it just feels like we're headed towards that a little bit in some fashion.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Casey, and I think it's again tied to that, the price point of the new stuff, the 1 to 2 year old stuff on the lot, and I mean we certainly understand. Everything involved with that. But, farmers vote with their checkbook. They always have. They always will through their ups and downs. And so to see that S770 go for 446, and we've talked about it a lot. It's like there's always some price level where no matter how difficult things are, where if it's a good shape, that'll sell really well, attract a lot of interest. So maybe we're just seeing, the whole space just kind of realize that new one is whatever, 600,000-700,000 plus. So if I can get a really nice one, whether it's an auction or a trade or dealer, low hours in the low fours, whatever. Let's take the Steffes auction June 17th to play right into this example. So again, it was a very nice farm auction. We talked about the S780 going for $385 there, but on that same sale, they had a 22 model John Deere 9R 640, of course, big 4-wheel drive, 836 hours, went for $395. Now, when you look at that auction price, it can be easy to say, okay, what's a new one cost? Wow, that's $395 is really soft. Well, actually, $395 from a hard cash auction standpoint, that's the highest auction price on an 800 plus hour 9R 640 in 21 months.
Okay.
And right behind it, they had a 21 model 9620R with 907 hours. That did $372.5. And that was the highest auction price in 19 months. I believe on any 9620R.
Yeah.
So again, super high quality stuff, really nice farm auction. But those two checks are pushing $400K on a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old 4-wheel drive.
Yep. And the one thing too about this, the dynamic of this marketplace too, Greg, and we haven't really hit on this that much. There's 3 different kinds of auctions, right? You have your consignment sale that, ABC Auctions is going to have one. You bring your stuff to the lot, they drop it off, and they go sell it, right? And whoever comes to it, great, whatever. Then you have a dealer liquidation, inventory reduction type of thing, which is not quite a consignment sale, but a little stuff above that. And then you have the farm retirement estate sale type thing. And the estate sale is the one that obviously brings the most money, always has been, 20% more most of the time, we start looking at it. One thing that's really helping out this market right now, Greg, is the fact, and it's good and bad both, but really it's helping out this market when you look at used equipment values, is the number of estate sales that are in the mix. Because typically that's a smaller fraction of the marketplace, and because of the situation that we're in right now, there's more of those retirement sales, more of those estate sales type things happening, which are bringing up the level of value when you start looking at, if I'm going to go look at this and I'm a used equipment guy and I'm sitting there looking at where's the auction value at, what are we going to do? Most of the stuff I'm going to be looking at is going to be estate sales. So you have to kind of take that into consideration, that if I were to take an auction as ABC Implement, right, there's going to be a different level of that, but that level's higher now because of where the estate, where the baseline is above that. So it's kind of working itself through to where we're seeing some higher values on the auction side because
I think you're exactly right. On the auction side, it's super interesting, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We try to stay right on top of things data-wise. Now, if you look at the raw number of farm machinery auctions through, I think it was May 7th, the raw number was up 19.5% this year. Now, normally, you would say, almost 20% increase in auction. Boy, your pricing is going to be suffering because there's that much more on the market.
Yeah.
But we're flipped because it's, again, despite the fact there's 19.5% more machinery auctions, the amount of 1 to 3-year-old stuff at auction, that's down that 19.9%. Right. Tractors, I think planters were down 25%, 1 to 3-year-old this year versus last year, despite the fact there's more auctions. Mm-hmm. So when these nice auctions show up right now, they're kind of just shining like a beacon.
Right.
Because that price of news up here, and it's like, that Steffes sale, in Reagan, North Dakota, June 17th. It called to buyers from all over the place, just like Zach Heiner's sale did on the 24th in Andrews, Indiana. And but they are working together because even the consignment sales. Remember, we talked last week about our friends at Wheeler Auctions and Real Estate down there in Paris, Missouri. They had a sale in Carthage, Illinois on the 18th, where Kirby Feck, one of their sales managers, told us about that 20 model John Deere DB80. I think it was how many row was that? That was 48 row 20 inch, 22,500 acres, brought $311,000 on a consignment dealer type sale. I think on some of these big consignment sales, I think the auctioneers are slowly getting better when they get the premium stuff, like a farmer retirement line within that big consignment.
Yeah.
We're getting some of these auction companies, like Big Iron does a really good job of it. Purple Wave does as well. Ritchie Brothers does a good job. they'll peel out that farmer retirement line and just promote that. Like, hey, John Jackson in so-and-so, Minnesota, his retirement line is on our big consignment sale on Wednesday. And if I look at the auction prices, they're effectively getting to the point when it's like a standalone sale.
Right.
So that's
a sale within a sale, right?
Sale within the sale, right.
Yep.
Which is really smart. And again, when the whole farm audience is focused, if they're not buying new, what they want is the best quality used that's cheaper than that new stuff.
Right.
And now it's getting really competitive. And to your point, if it's picking up this steam right now, you look ahead at, the rest of the year. I mean, we'll see what happens next week, but my 36 years, again, says if we see this momentum now, I have not seen that spike in summer and then fall back off a cliff towards the end of the year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is kind of like a high tide raises all boats type of situation, in a lot of ways. So it'd be interesting to watch what happens with Greg, because as we continue to work down this path, another thing too that comes from this is that second tier level equipment that's not the nicest of the nice, but it's not trash either, right? I mean, it's just it's just next level down. When all the nice stuff's gone, that's the nicest stuff on the block, right? So now you're just replacing that value for the next level machine. Like the values don't come back down. It's just next level up machine type of thing.
That's, again, think of that Steiger 580 quad, almost $4,800. Now, nice machine, but it wasn't $2,200. It was $4,800, and it brought 170. Right. And again, when you just look, or that 9250 with 1,333 engine hours on the combine at 280, it's like that just wouldn't have happened 6 or 12 or 18 or especially 24 months ago. That thing would have been nowhere near 280, but put it up for sale today. That's what you brought.
Yep, for sure. Interesting thing to watch, Greg, and that's why we do this every week to keep everyone up to date on what's happening in the space. So, Greg, if folks want to reach out to you, get more information about what you're doing, just go to machinerypete.com or check you out over there. Probably Twitter's or X, I guess now, is your best place to find you.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Actually, if a little recommendation, but if people, particularly in the dealership end or the manufacturing end, if you're not on LinkedIn, you should really get on LinkedIn. There's tons of great flow of information there, and that might be the easiest way to catch me, a message on LinkedIn. But just hit our website. There's a message button there, and love connecting with people.
Right on. Casey Seymour, you can find me on all the socials at either Moving Iron LLC or Moving Iron Podcast. Check out the audio version of this over on AgWeb on the podcast section, and go to the Farm Journal YouTube page. You can watch the video version of this as well. Just give a little plug here for the Moving Iron Summit coming up here in Nashville, or not Nashville, that was last year, going to Louisville this year, September 23rd through the 25th. If you're interested in that, in your dealership, go check out AgWeb and go down to the events page, and you can see all the information there, how to sign up. And if you want to be a sponsor of that and get in front of a lot of dealerships, man, it's a great place to do it. Check out the information there as well. You can see all the things that you need to do to get involved with that there. So, Greg, appreciate you being on the podcast. We'll catch you again next time.
All right. Sounds good, Casey. Have a good week.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week. And remember, Moving Iron is available on Farm Journal's YouTube channel and anywhere podcasts are found. So until next time, let's move some iron.